Welcome back with True Power Comics. Have you ever watched a part 1 or a part 2 to a video and just didn't feel like searching for the other one? Well, in this video we're taking part 1 and part 2 and putting them together for your convenience. If you enjoy this, hit that like button. Any ideas for future videos? Put it down in the comments. And if you want to see more, subscribe. Starting with our number 1 hero, Captain Marvel. Now, a lot of you see a kick-ass blonde when hearing the name Captain Marvel, but before Brie Larson rocked the Captain Marvel mantle, the hero had a really different look, and boy did he meet a rather mundane demise for a superhero. He was just battling against an arch nemesis like a mighty god, right? Nah, instead, he found himself face to face with the villain even the toughest heroes could never conquer. Cancer. Yes, you heard it right. The invincible warrior falls prey to a disease even superhuman strength could never overcome. Now, witnessing our beloved hero succumb to such a human affliction is definitely a downer, but let's take a moment to appreciate the unexpected silver lining. Something remarkable happens. Fellow heroes who usually can't see eye to eye put their differences aside as they rally together, united in grief, to pay their respects to the fallen legend. But wait, it gets even better. Old foes, those dastardly villains who would usually rejoice at the hero's downfall, can't help but shed a tear or two. I mean, they've spent years trying to bring Captain Marvel to his knees, and now ironically, it's an ailment that accomplishes what they never could. It's like the universe itself decided to give these villains a dose of poetic justice. Coming in with our number 2, the Night of Gwen Stacy. The tragic tale that still haunts the dream of Marvel fans. And hey, I'm right there with you, my friend. In my humble opinion, it's a true heartbreaker. Gwen Stacy, a beloved character, caught up in the web of devastation courtesy of none other than our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Now prepare yourself because Gwen's fate takes a particularly gruesome turn. She finds herself hurtling through the air, plummeting through the ground. But hold on tight because Spider-Man's trusty webs come to the rescue, snatching her mid-fall. Sounds heroic, right? Well, here comes the gut punch. The sudden stop causes a brutal snapping of Gwen's neck like a fragile twig. It was one of the first instances where a major character met their untimely end due to the actions of a hero. And ouch, talk about a whiplash. Peter Parker, burdened with an overwhelming mix of grief and guilt, enters a darker era. This pivotal moment in his life sends shockwaves through the comic book world, forever changing the trajectory of the Spider-Man story. Moving on to our number 3. Aunt May, the resilient soul who has managed to cheat death more times than we can count. It seems like the comic book universe just can't let go of her, no matter how many times she shuffles off this mortal coil. But hey, amidst all the absurd retcons, there's one particular demise that stands out, tugging at our heartstrings, even if it eventually gets reversed. So picture this. Aunt May's lying in her deathbed, her time drawing near. It's a poignant moment that draws a striking chord with the readers. In this instance, Aunt May reveals the stunning truth that leaves Peter Parker speechless. She confesses that she always knew his secret, that he was our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man who fought for justice. Surprise! The weight of that revelation hangs heavy in the air for years. Peter had struggled to protect Aunt May by keeping his double life a secret, but now on her deathbed, the truth finally comes pouring out, offering both Peter and Aunt May a bittersweet sense of relief. The days of weaving a web of lies and deception are over. Number 4, X-Men Days of Future Past. A gripping series that took us on a wild ride through times of dystopian futures. And let me tell you, my mutant-loving friends, the stakes were higher than ever. In this alternate reality, the X-Men receive a desperate call to action from Kitty Pryde. She urges them to alter a pivotal moment in history. The government's control over mutant kind had reached new heights, leading them to be forced into camps. The future looked grim. Enter the Sentinels, towering behemoths of destruction. These formidable machines reigned supreme, obliterating anything in their path with their powerful hand cannons. Even Wolverine, with his regenerative healing factor and indestructible adamantium skeleton, could not withstand a fatal blast from these ruthless Sentinels. It's a heartbreaking turn of events watching Wolverine, a beacon of resilience and tenacity, fall victim to the relentless Sentinel regime. No amount of healing or unbreakable metal could save him from this tragic fate. It's a testament to the dire circumstances faced by mutants and the overwhelming power of the Sentinels. Hold on to your seats, folks, with our number 5, because we're diving into the darkest depths of comic book tragedy. Brace yourself for the most shocking death that has ever graced the pages of superhero history. Now, I know you might not be familiar with the name Alex DeWitt, but trust me, her story is one that will leave you speechless. She was the girlfriend of Kyle Rayner, the soon-to-be Green Lantern. Alex helped him train and harness his newfound powers, but Major Force, one of Kyle's most formidable adversaries, perceived Alex as a threat, a dangerous influence on our aspiring Green Lantern, and in a twisted act of cruelty, Major Force decided to eliminate her from the equation. But brace yourselves, because the method by which Alex meets her tragic end is truly horrifying. Major Force strangles her, snuffing out her life with his bare hands. But that's not where the horror ends. Oh no, he goes a step further, descending into utter madness. Major Force proceeds to desecrate Alex's body, cutting it up and leaving the gruesome remains in the refrigerator for Kyle to discover. I can hear your gasps of shock, and rightfully so. The full panel depiction of Kyle's heart-wrenching discovery is referenced as a pivotal and haunting turning point. The Green Lantern mythos was forever changed. And last but never least, our number 6, The Ultimate Spider-Man. It swung onto the scene in the 2000s, captivating readers with its fresh take on Peter Parker's story. In a truly heart-wrenching turn of events, Peter Parker finds himself caught in the crossfire, taking a fateful bullet from none other than Frank Castle, aka the Punisher. But here's the twist. Despite the life-threatening wound, Peter chooses to decline medical care. Why? To protect his family from a fearsome team-up of villains, including the Green Goblin, Elektra, Sandman, and Kraven. It's a selfless act that comes at the ultimate cost, Peter's own life. In his final moments, Peter manages to save Aunt May, MJ, and his other friends, finding forgiveness for himself for not being able to save Uncle Ben. It's a bittersweet ending, no doubt, as the world mourns the loss of a true hero. But fear not, for in the wake of Peter's passing, a new Spider-Man swings into action, Miles Morales. A fresh face with his own unique set of powers, Miles carries the mantle forward, continuing the legacy of Spider-Man. Coming in with our number 1, the tragic tale of Elektra, a character whose death left a lasting impact on the life of Matt Murdock, better known as Daredevil. Elektra shared a complicated history with Murdock as his former lover and also his primary adversary, which is a pretty awkward love story if you ask me. Elektra and Bullseye, both formidable foes fighting for the position of the Kingpin's top assassin. In a twisted game, they are pitted against each other, with the survivor claiming the coveted role and the loser facing an untimely demise. The stakes are high, and the battle between Elektra and Bullseye rages on. In the pages of Daredevil 181, penned and illustrated by the incomparable Frank Miller, the tensions reaches its peak. The combatants are evenly matched, their skills and ferocity pushing the limits. But alas, fate takes a cruel turn. Bullseye again gains the upper hand, seizing one of Elektra's own size and thrusting it right through her chest. It's a devastating blow, and yet Elektra, indomitable spirit, keeps her alive, if only for a fleeting moment. Seeking solace and shelter, Elektra makes her way to Matt Murdock's apartment, where she breathes her last breath in his arms. It's a moment that reverberates through the pages of the Daredevil and stands as one of the most significant deaths in Marvel Comics history. Our number 2. Well folks, get ready for a wild ride into the bizarre and twisted corners of superhero storytelling. Because in the midst of the Others event, Spider-Man meets his demise in a fierce battle against Morlun. But hold on, because it turns out that Spider-Man's body was nothing more than a discarded husk, and it was shed so that he could be revived within a cocoon beneath the broken bridge. Now I know that sounds weird, and it is. So during this peculiar period, as Peter's discarded skin rests peacefully in Stark Tower, an unexpected twist unfolds. A swarm of pirate spiders devours the abandoned skin, only to merge and transform into a human female form, an entity proclaiming itself as Spider-Man's other. Yes, you heard that right. A female entity created from a horde of spiders, now calling itself Miss Arrow. But let's fast forward to Miss Arrow's demise, a tale as barbaric as it is odd. Kidnapping Flash Thomason as her captive, Miss Arrow tries to impregnate him with an egg sac that would hatch thousands of spider babies, resulting in Flash's demise. But here comes Spider-Man, determined to save the day. However, upon spotting Spider-Man, Miss Arrow decides to target our web-slinging hero instead. But before she can carry out her peculiar plan, Betty Brant, armed with a shotgun, blasts the egg sac, killing thousands of spider babies. As the chaos ensues, Arrow attempts to flee, and the pursuit leads them to an aviary where a swarm of birds descends upon Arrow, eating up all the massive spiders, feasting on her, the bizarre creature. But in the end, one spider survives, but that fate is quickly sealed as Spider-Man squashes it beneath his boot. Ouch. We're about to dive into a twisted tale that proves that even superheroes can have their moments of dark humor and disturbing encounters. With our number 3, The Punisher. Renowned for his lone wolf persona and brutal methods, the Punisher decides to team up with none other than the gruff and resilient Wolverine. What could possibly go wrong, you ask? Well, let's just say it's a partnership that takes an unexpected and truly bizarre turn. In the pages of Punisher number 17, the Punisher and Wolverine find themselves facing off against a group of mafia goons. Now, one might expect this odd pairing to work together in harmony, but alas, that's not quite how things work out. In a moment that defies all logic and expectation, the Punisher, true to his unpredictable nature, turns his deadly arsenal against the fellow vigilante. Yeah, you heard that right. Frank Castle aims his guns at Wolverine, delivering a rather unconventional blow that no hero would ever wish to endure. With a series of ruthless shots, the Punisher blasts Wolverine's testicles off, and then proceeds to target his face. And if that weren't enough, he goes for the grand finale, running over Wolverine with the steamroller. Ouch. But before you jump to conclusions, it's worth noting that Wolverine doesn't exactly meet his demise from the encounter, and to be fair, Castle's intentions wasn't to kill him, but rather to remove him as an obstacle in his path. But let's face it, this twisted and utterly shocking turn of events is too strange to leave off our list, even if it is extremely confusing. Our number 4, Ultimatum, a crossover event that left fans with mixed feelings. In this tale, the aftermath of Magneto's devastating actions takes center stage. While the series might not have been well received by fans, it's undeniably delivered some of Marvel's most gruesome deaths. The alternate version of the Blob, a mutant known for his less than friendly demeanor. However, in Ultimatum, this version of the Blob takes his nastiness to a whole new level. Now let's be honest, we've all seen Blob and thought to ourselves, that's the first guy to go cannibal in a bad situation. Am I right? Well, in a shocking turn of events, the Blob's threat of cannibalism becomes a horrifying reality. His insatiable appetite leads him to commit a gruesome act. When Iron Man arrives at the Triskelion searching for the Wasp during an apocalyptic event, he instead discovers the Blob indulging in a lifeless body of the fallen heroine. It's a scene that shocks even the mightiest of heroes, leaving them shaken and disturbed. The Wasp's ex-husband Hank Pym, given the gravity of the situation and the brutal fate that has befallen his former spouse, responds in a way that left fans even more shocked, which leads us to our number 5. Yet another shocking moment in the infamous Ultimatum series. Brace yourself, dear readers, as we dive into the aftermath of the Blob's grotesque acts and witness the visceral reaction of none other than him, the Giant Man himself. In a scene that leaves little to imagination, Hank Pym arrives at the Triskelion, only to discover the horrifying sight of his ex-wife, the Wasp, lying on the floor with her entrails hanging from the Blob's ravenous mouth. Fueled by a potent mix of anger, grief, and a desire for vengeance, Pym's emotions reach a boiling point. Harnessing his ability to grow colossal proportions, he oversizes the Blob and does something that would make even the strongest stomachs turn. With an enraged bite, Pym tears off the Blob's head, a gruesome and repulsive act that mirrors the shocking brutality prevalent in the Ultimatum series. But fear not, fellow readers, for Pym doesn't consume the severed head. He spits it out onto the ground, leaving his fellow teammates in a state of utter shock and disgust. Truly, this is a moment that lingers in the minds of those who have witnessed it, adding another layer of darkness to a series that struggled to make its impact felt. And last but never least, our number 6, the twisted and gruesome world of Marvel Zombies. The Marvel Universe takes a dark turn as a zombie plague engulfs our heroes. No healing factor or superhuman strength can save them from the insidious virus. With each turn of the page, we witness the grim fate that befalls our favorite characters, either succumbing to the infection or becoming a feast for their undead counterparts. But it's the fate of Peter Parker, our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, that sends shivers down our spine. As he's succumbing to the virus, Peter swings off in search of his loved ones, Aunt May and Mary Jane, driven by a primal instinct to protect them both. But alas, he arrives, the virus starts taking over and causing him to lose control. And he does something that leaves every reader gasping with shock. In a horrifying twist, Peter, the man defined by his unwavering love for his family, does the unimaginable. He devours them both. The most disturbing elements of this ghastly act are left to our imagination, hidden in the shadows of the panel. Yet the mere suggestion of Peter Parker, the epitome of a hero, turning into a cannibalistic monster adds an extra layer of darkness to the story, and is the reason why the Ultimatum story, Marvel Zombies, is absolutely horrifying. And there you have it for the top 6 most tragic deaths in superhero comics, Part 2. If you enjoyed this series so far, please hit that like button. If there was a superhero or a death or a villain that we missed in this, please let us know in the comments section. And if you want to see more videos like this, hit that subscribe button for more content. Thank you.